Okay, picture this. You are chasing the absolute perfect night's sleep. You're tracking every single minute of it, but you wake up feeling even more stressed than when you went to bed. It sounds crazy, right? Well, that is the bizarre reality for literally millions of people caught up in a new wellness trend called sleepmaxxing. Today, we are going to break down exactly what that is, why this whole quest for perfection can totally backfire, and, most importantly, how you can actually improve your sleep without all the obsession. So let's kick things off with a question you might already be asking yourself every morning. Does this feel a little too familiar? The very first thing you do when that alarm goes off is grab your phone or peek out your watch. Not to check the time, but to see your sleep score. You're hunting for that perfect 100, and anything less just feels like a failure. If you're nodding along right now, trust me, you are so not alone. And this whole thing, it has a name, sleepmaxxing. It's this idea of using every single tool you can get your hands on, wearables, smart mattresses, AI-powered apps, you name it, to squeeze every last drop of quality out of your sleep. And this trend has absolutely exploded across the US, basically turning our bedrooms into data labs. But here's the thing. There's a huge, huge paradox hiding right at the center of it all. Just take a look at this number. 81%. That is a massive majority of people, and it points directly to the central problem with how we're all thinking about rest these days. Any guesses what it represents?
That 81%, get this, it's the number of Americans who lose sleep simply because they are worried about getting enough sleep. Let that sink in. The very act of trying to get perfect rest is the exact thing keeping so many of us staring at the ceiling at night. This is the sleepmaxxing paradox in one single jaw-dropping statistic.
So yeah, what starts as a really well-intentioned goal can quickly spiral into a seriously unhealthy obsession. In fact, sleep doctors are so concerned about this whole trend that they've actually given it a clinical-sounding name. It's called orthosomnia, and it sounds clinical because, well, it's a real issue. It's what happens when your focus on sleep tracker data becomes so obsessive that the anxiety it creates starts to actively ruin your sleep. You get to a point where you trust the numbers on your wrist more than how your own body actually feels.
And this kicks off a really vicious cycle. First, you get the sleep anxiety, that relentless pressure to beat last night's score. Then, that pressure leads people to try some pretty extreme and often unproven hacks, like that mouth taping trend you may have seen, which has very little science to back it up. And the punchline, the stress from all this tracking and optimizing actually physically makes your sleep quality worse. You are trying so hard to relax that your body just can't.
So let's just pause and reframe this for a second. The real objective here isn't to get a perfect score on some app. It's to feel healthy, to feel rested and energized. The tech is supposed to serve that goal, not become the goal itself. Okay, so if obsession is the enemy, then what's the solution? Well, the good news is that sleep science gives us a much smarter, way more sustainable path to improving our rest, one that doesn't lead to burnout. Let's just look at these two approaches side by side. You've got the obsession path, constantly chasing scores, trying wild hacks, living with this low-grade anxiety all the time, and then you have the healthy approach, building a consistent, gentle routine, creating a relaxing wind-down ritual, and just using technology as a friendly guide. I mean, the difference is literally night and day. So, where do we even begin with that healthy approach? It all starts with the basics, the simple things that work with your body's natural clock, not against it. A consistent sleep and wake time, and yep, that means even on weekends, is probably the single most powerful tool you have. Pair that with getting some bright, natural sunlight first thing in the morning to tell your brain, hey, it's daytime, and then making your room cool, dark, and quiet at night to say, okay, time to shut down. These foundational habits, they make the biggest difference, period. Next up, it's about creating your own pre-bed playbook. This is all about signaling to your body that it's time to chill out. It actually starts way back in the afternoon by cutting out caffeine. Then, in the evening, you swap out the screens for something genuinely relaxing, like reading a book or doing a few simple breathing exercises. Even your diet can play a part. Some studies suggest that meals with more fiber and protein might actually support better sleep. So what do we do with all that tech? The trick is to completely shift your mindset. Your tracker isn't a judge handing down a verdict on how you slept. Think of it more like a guide, just offering some helpful clues. Maybe it shows your heart rate was a little high last night. Instead of freaking out, you can get curious and ask, why? Oh, right, I was answering that stressful work email right before I closed my eyes. You see, it becomes a tool for curiosity, not for criticism.
All right, I know this can feel like a lot of information at once, so let's boil it all down into a super simple plan you can literally start using tonight to reset your entire relationship with sleep.
Here it is. Step 1 is to track. For just 1 week, pay attention to your current habits and, this is the most important part, how you feel when you wake up. Step 2 is to change. And please, don't try to change everything at once. Just pick one healthy habit, like a consistent bedtime or no screens an hour before bed, and just focus on that. And finally, step 3 is to reflect. After a couple of weeks, check in with yourself. Do you feel like you have more energy? If you do, awesome. If not, maybe try adjusting one other little thing. It's all about slow, mindful improvement.
And let this be your new mantra through this whole process. We are not aiming for perfection here. We're just aiming for consistent, good enough for us that lets us feel our best. Some nights are going to be better than others, and you know what? That is completely and totally normal.
When you get right down to it, it's all about this one question. Are you chasing records on your wrist, or are you actually chasing rest? It's time to start prioritizing how you feel way more than what the data says.
So I'm going to leave you with this to think about. After everything we've talked about, what is the one small, healthy sleep habit you're going to try out this week? Remember, the goal is to sleep smarter, not harder.